Paranormal in Pennsylvania may discuss topics such as suicide, murder, and other potentially upsetting things. Listener discretion is advised. Hello, and welcome to Paranormal in Pennsylvania,
where we discuss history and haunts.
Today's story takes us to Westchester, Pennsylvania, in a haunted bar. I'm Sarah.
And I'm David.
Let's get into it. This season, we're being sponsored by our friends at Haunted US. They travel the country bringing you real stories of American hauntings every Thursday at hauntedus.com. So today we're talking about Sidebar Restaurant, which is located in Westchester, Pennsylvania. And we have been there.
We have.
Yeah, do you remember we went for that one? We went there just us for a date night one night, and we tried a bunch of seasonal cocktails that they had.
Oh, yeah. We got it like quite late.
Yeah.
I now know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, I knew that was going to make you remember it if I said it that way. So, but we've also been, I think, with the family a few times, and I didn't know that it was haunted. A listener actually referred it to us.
Oh, that's really cool. Thank you, listener.
Yeah, if you ever have a haunted place that you want us to cover, reach out on socials, you can email us, etc. We do add them all to our list, and we try to prioritize listener referrals because we want you guys to like what you're hearing.
We should also shout out the username of the person in the future.
Yeah, we should. I didn't write it down.
Sorry, person, this time. Thank you for telling us, though.
If it was you, tell us, and we'll give you a shout out. Okay, so history. We know from previous episodes, like Iron Hill, that Westchester has tons of history, and it was part of the Brandywine battlefield and stuff like that. Okay. But the building actually has cool history itself. The restaurant was the location of the first telegraph in Westchester.
That is neat. That is.
I know.
That's cool.
I thought it was really cool. And all of the messages to the town were routed through the upstairs of this building from 1899 to 1905.
6 years, that's a lot.
I feel like that would be something to advertise. I guess maybe I'm just a history nerd. Who else cares when you're picking like a bar? But I just thought it was cool.
Yeah, that is really cool because you could like lay into that historic history some as well, and like even create like a cocktail or something for it.
Well, I was like, it would be cool to have a speakeasy telegraph themed on the second floor where you had to like enter something or
Morse code. Everybody loves that for escape rooms. It's everyone's favorite, truly.
Yeah. So after it was used for telegraphs, it became a pool hall.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. Also cool.
I also like those.
The early mid 1900s. Very cool. And prior to becoming Sidebar, it was another restaurant called Vincent's, which I think was really beloved by the community and there for quite a while. But I never remember seeing it there.
Okay.
So.
I certainly wasn't there.
Yeah, you certainly weren't there. That's true. It's located at 10 East Gay Street in Westchester, and the food is really good, and the cocktails were good. It's a good time.
Yeah, why do I think I've only ever been there for cocktails? What does that say about me? I don't know. But I believe the food was good. But the smell was really good. I do remember that.
Yeah.
So
well, I think the only night that you are remembering, I think we got there after the kitchen closed.
Yeah, it had just closed, so that's why we had cocktails, and then we went to a place that still had a kitchen open.
Yeah,
but people still had food, that they had been served.
Still smell the food. Yeah. We just couldn't order any. So that's the history.
Sad.
It's kind of a brief history because there's not much else other than this building was this at this point in time. So now for the paranormal story. And the haunting actually dates back to when the most recent owners were renovating the bar. That's the oldest account I could find of the haunting.
Okay.
And we know from other places like the Black Powder Tavern that renovations can definitely stir up some spirits and make anything lingering there very unhappy.
They don't like change.
Yeah. So Justin Dougherty, I'm probably butchering the last name, I'm sorry. Justin and his wife said that they heard a sound that sounded kind of like pool balls clacking together late at night, but they chalked it up to another sound, the ice maker.
Fair.
However, they said they did that to make themselves feel better because the ice maker was actually unplugged during the renovation.
Oh, Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, could you guarantee that it was unplugged the whole time? Or
Yeah,
perhaps
they didn't have electricity.
Oh, well, yeah, that'll do it.
Right. So that's what I was thinking. It's like, what other sound could that have been if they were the only ones there? There's no active construction happening and nothing was plugged in.
I don't know, because I'm trying to think of other things that would sound like, pool balls hitting each other.
It's a pretty distinct sound. I could see, like, if something fell and clanked, but not to hear it repeatedly throughout the night.
Yeah. And then the only other thing I would think of is, like, was there an animal or something upstairs that was knocking things around and that's what you were hearing?
I mean, I guess that could be true.
From the renovation, but either way, I'm enjoying the idea of having a pool hall or like a couple ghost spirits, still like living the life in the pool hall, like you go have some beers with your friends and have a few games of pool. It's a great time. Really would recommend.
Yeah, you're someone who loves pool. And so this is what gives more credence to the claim, I think, what I'm going to tell you next. They didn't know at that time that it used to be a pool hall. So they described it as the sound of pool balls clanking together before they knew about the history of the building. They actually ended up going later that week to the Westchester Historical Society. You can get a bunch of records on like what the buildings used to be, and that's when they found out it was a pool hall. And then it made a lot more sense to them.
Cool.
Yeah,
like I said, I'm down with that. They should put a pool table up there.
That's what I was thinking. Put a pool table in again. I don't think there was one.
Yeah, and see like if the spirits particularly enjoy that and go wild with it.
It's interesting to me. This sounds like a residual haunting, not as if there's distinct spirits there. What do you think?
Like just their energy left over of like from having such a good time that they're...
Yeah, and the energy of the pool hall, the sounds of the pool hall, not necessarily any distinct spirits lingering.
Sure. I mean, but we've also had, cases in the Poconos, the hotel that had...
Shawnean.
If I'm not mistaken, that was the one that had people where you would see like spirits entering and like going to a party. Was that one? Am I remembering this correctly?
Remember. It's an old episode.
But it is like a season or two ago now. We can say that now. But but either way, so it doesn't sound far-fetched that if you just had such a great time and that was like some of the happiest times of your life, you end up back there.
Right. And I think also any time where there's strong emotions, it's really easy to get the residual energy and almost like a haunting to be in that space. And if a lot of people were, excited to be there at the pool hall with their friends, I mean, those were like the epicenter of social life, right?
I imagine. I mean, I don't know. Like I guess we'd have to like talk to the Westchester Historical Society to see like if that was like the happening place.
Yeah.
Or one of like a few, but like if it was like a really big happening place.
Yeah. It would be interesting to dig more into it.
Right.
Hi listeners! We're so excited to tell you about our partnership with Haunted US. Haunted US is an online publication that brings you credible articles on the history and specific paranormal claims of haunted locations across the country. We've even used them to research some of our episodes. Visit hauntedus.com for new haunted places every Thursday.
So there is one place in the building that is said to be haunted, specifically by like spirits, less residual, I think, and that is the women's restroom.
Why is it always the women's restroom?
That's literally in my notes. It says, I feel like this is so common. We saw it at McGillen's Ale House. We saw it at the Mashulu. We saw it at one of the hotels in the Poconos. We have seen this so many times, specifically the women's restroom. Why? But the lights are said to turn themselves on and off, which could always be chalked up to an electrical issue.
You beat me to it.
We always say that. This is an old building. However, they specifically turn on and off when footsteps are heard walking up the stairs or down the hallway.
Okay.
So to me, the fact that it's paired gives it more credibility.
I mean, the footsteps, certainly is something more, but
you're not convinced.
It's not that I'm not convinced. It very well could be haunted. I'm more just still hung up that why is it always the women's restroom?
I don't know.
That's really like as you said, like the next thing about the steps, I was still just like really churning on the women's restroom.
So here's my theory. My theory is because didn't women run the telegraphs?
I do not know.
Maybe it's just always depicted in movies that it's women.
Are you thinking of telegraphs or are you thinking of like phone operators?
I'm thinking of phone operators. You're right.
Yeah.
Scratch that. Scratch the gender part of that, I guess. I think the spirit could be a previous telegraph operator that's walking up and maybe turning the lights on and off, almost like Morse code. That's my theory.
Oh, that'd be pretty cool to get that on camera and then try to see if it is Morse code.
Yeah, because we're great at Morse code.
Oh my gosh, we're so good at it. No, we're not. We're not good.
We never get stuck in escape rooms just on Morse code puzzles.
We are undefeated, but the Morse code certainly stops us dead in our tracks for a while.
Yes.
All that, yeah. It's getting sidetracked, but
yeah.
But you know, to the credit, it could be a woman, if it like that upstairs, perhaps like a husband and wife lived there, and they both knew Morse code because, quite frankly, telegrams come in at, I think, all times of the day.
Oh, I think you're right. That's a good point.
So they could have been trading off hours on who was operating the telegraph.
And also, it doesn't have to be a female spirit to go into the women's restroom.
You're right. I mean, we don't know if that was always the women's restroom.
It wasn't.
Okay, so you're right. So then it could just be unfortunate positioning at all these places where this is a haunted room that we turned into a women's restroom.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
Because at McGillen's, it was. Like, it's the oldest ale house in Philadelphia. It has been a restroom for a long time. Mashulu, unsure, because it used to be a ship, so it probably had a lot of stuff going on. And the Poconos Hotel, the haunting was specific to the restroom, the fact that it was a restroom. But this one feels more arbitrary.
Yeah, I think it's more of just somebody that's there. And if it wasn't always a restroom, what if that was a bedroom? Like, what if that is them leaving their bedroom, going to the telegraph, wherever that was at the house?
Well, that's what I was thinking with going up and down the stairs, is it's not necessarily like a bar patron. It could have been the worker, or I think the idea of someone living there is also a great point.
Right, because once you write down what the message is, you go downstairs, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
How do you deliver the message? You don't throw it out the window. Well, I don't know. You might have had a shoot or something. Who knows?
Yeah. No, but I think you're right. So when I've been here, I haven't really paid attention to hauntings, but it's normally really noisy, and that's always not an issue I have, but a concern I have with hauntings. If you can't go after hours, or they won't let you for an investigation, you can't go on an off time, then you're much less likely to experience something, because if you see something, unless it's someone in like period clothes or a shadow figure, if you were to see a full body apparition, it might not register that it's a spirit. If you were to hear noise, it wouldn't register as being paranormal. So places like this, I always take it with a grain of salt that I myself haven't had a paranormal experience there, because we do have these other documented hauntings.
Well, we just need to throw you in the women's bathroom for a couple hours. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
Super easy, barely an inconvenience.
Yeah.
And wait for the eventual light switching, or I don't know, maybe I slowly open the door and then start flicking the light myself.
But if you did that, you would have to tell me after. So that we wouldn't
I'd absolutely
say it
tell you,
on
but
a podcast.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting because at McGillen's, I didn't have a paranormal experience, but we were there with Hannah of Horror Hour with the Hannahs, and she did.
I don't know. I'm with you that for me to have a paranormal experience there, certainly while it's loud and busy, is very unlikely, or for me to be able to distinguish it.
Yeah.
That being said, that's not discrediting the hauntings or anything. It's just, I believe it'd be very hard to experience one while it's in operation.
Yeah. And I think that it also makes sense that the pool balls were heard during the renovation,
Nobody's there.
no one's there making any noise. So, yeah, I think it's interesting. Time to answer the question, would you go to this place of paranormal phenomena?
Yes.
I mean,
Absolutely.
we kind of just said that. But what about, like, overnight? Would
Yeah.
you sleep there?
Absolutely.
Really? No fear?
Yeah. Do I have access to the bar?
I know. You're like, give me a pool table. I'll be there 24/7.
Right.
I know. I feel like you want to make friends with the spirits that are there, the pool hall
Yeah, I'm
spirits.
like lucky.
Yeah.
I want to play pool.
Yeah, right. I think it would be really cool to do an investigation here. I think also just because Westchester, again, is so haunted and has so much history in the streets there, that these are just the hauntings that we know about. Who knows what else might come up?
Yeah, like the gremlin ghost of Iron Hill that messes with the technology.
Yes. I don't know if gremlin's the right word.
I think of it like a little troll, like a little gremlin, just like, haha, see this? Unplug. Or
That's
like,
funny.
Or like, haha, you working? Crash.
That's funny. But yeah, because that is true. It's another haunted bar in Westchester, and they're so close to each other.
Yeah, part of the reason I was bringing that up was a locality. Aren't they like within half a block of each other? Or
I think so, because Sidebar is like down that street.
Yeah. And then there's the main
Iron
street
Hill.
where Iron Hill is.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely if you are in Westchester, check out Sidebar, known to be haunted, and Iron Hill. If you've been there and you had any experiences, let us know. We would love to hear more about these places. And if you have somewhere that you want us to cover, maybe you've had a paranormal experience or heard something's haunted, send us a DM on Instagram, TikTok. You can shoot us an email. We are always watching out for those and always looking to cover new places. Tune in next Thursday to see what history and hauntings we discuss next. Stay spooky, my friends.
Spooky.